iOS 18.6 Update, fixing 29 security flaws. Imagine your personal data being exposed to malicious attackers simply because you haven't updated your iPhone to the latest iOS version. This is a harsh reality that many of us could face if we don't take immediate action. Apple has just released iOS 18.6, a crucial update that fixes a whopping 29 security flaws, including several that involve Safari and WebKit. But here's where it gets interesting. Many of these vulnerabilities could have been exploited by attackers to gain access to your sensitive data, just by visiting a malicious website. And this is the part most people miss. Even if you think your iPhone is secure, skipping this update could leave you open to remote attacks. Experts are urging users to update their iPhones as soon as possible, as this update is your best defense against future threats. But what exactly does iOS 18.6 fix, and how can you update your iPhone to ensure your personal data remains safe? Let's dive in and explore the details. iOS 18.6 is a significant update that addresses multiple security holes, including one that could expose sensitive data just by visiting a malicious site. Apple typically keeps details vague at first, but what we do know is serious. Several of the flaws involve WebKit, the browser engine behind Safari, which is a common target for attackers. Other fixes involve Core Media, Core Audio, and CF Network, all key iOS frameworks. One major concern was a vulnerability that allowed your passcode to be read aloud by VoiceOver. Another bug could have enabled address bar spoofing, tricking users into thinking they were visiting a safe website. These are the kinds of tricks hackers love, and you don't want to be caught off guard. So what exactly does iOS 18.6 fix? Apple patched a flaw in WebKit that could expose your data through malicious web content, 3 memory corruption issues tied to dangerous website content, a CF network bug that allowed changes to restricted network settings, Core Media and Core Audio issues that affect how apps handle your data, and a Photos bug that prevented memory movies from being shared. While none of the flaws have been exploited in the wild yet, experts say that's no reason to wait. But here's the thing. Updating your iPhone is easier than you think. It only takes a few minutes and can prevent a major headache later. To update your iPhone to iOS 18.6, simply plug your iPhone into power and connect to Wi-Fi. Open the Settings app, tap General, select Software Update, tap Download and Install or Update Now under iOS 18.6, and follow the prompts. And don't forget to free up some space on your iPhone before updating, as a full iCloud storage can cause the update to fail. But iOS 18.6 isn't the only update Apple has released. The company has also rolled out iPadOS 17.7.9 for older iPads, macOS Sequoia 15.6, Sonoma 14.7.7, and Ventura 13.7.7, watchOS 11.6 for Apple Watch, and tvOS 18.6 and visionOS updates. To check for updates on other Apple devices, simply go to Settings, General Software Update on your iPad. Open System Settings, General Software Update on your Mac. Open the Watch app on your iPhone and go to General Software Update on your Apple Watch, or go to Settings, System Software Updates, and select Update Software on your Apple TV. The real trick, however, is to protect yourself beyond updates. Not all of us remember to check our devices for new updates right away, which is why adding a layer of antivirus protection is so important. Good antivirus software will stop you from clicking on malicious links that could install malware on your device, scan for hidden threats, and alert you if something suspicious is found. This gives you an extra line of defense, even between iOS updates. So, what does this mean for you? Security updates like iOS 18.6 are a key part of keeping your personal data safe. Even if your phone is working fine, skipping updates can leave you open to remote attacks. And with iOS 26 and the iPhone 17 just around the corner, this could be the last update before a major shift. If you don't plan to jump to iOS 26 immediately, applying 18.6 now helps lock in maximum protection. Kurt's key takeaways are clear. While iOS 18.6 may not bring flashy new features, it plays a crucial role in keeping your iPhone secure. With bugs patched across WebKit, Core Media, and more, This update shores up vulnerabilities before they're exploited. It's fast, free, and highly recommended. And remember, automatic updates aren't instant. If you wait, you could stay vulnerable longer than you think. But here's the question. What would make you trust Apple more or less when it comes to your personal data? Do you think the company is doing enough to protect its users, or are there more steps they could take? Let us know by writing to us at cyberguy.com/contact. And don't forget to sign up for the free CyberGuy report to get the best tech tips, urgent security alerts, and exclusive deals delivered straight to your inbox. Plus, you'll get instant access to the ultimate scam survival guide, free when you join. Copyright 2025, cyberguy.com. All rights reserved. Apple fixes critical Chrome zero-day vulnerability. Apple takes action against a serious security threat. In a proactive move, Apple has rolled out crucial security updates to tackle a significant vulnerability that has been actively exploited in zero-day attacks aimed at users of Google Chrome. This vulnerability, identified as CVE 2025-6558, stems from improper validation of untrusted input within the Angle, almost native graphics layer engine, an open-source graphics abstraction layer. This layer is responsible for processing GPU commands and converting OpenGL ES API calls into formats compatible with Direct3D, Metal, Vulkan, and OpenGL. The implications of this flaw are serious. It allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary code within the GPU process of the browser through specially crafted HTML pages. This could potentially enable them to break free from the sandbox that is designed to keep browser processes isolated from the operating system, raising significant security concerns. The discovery of CVE 2025-6558 was made by Vlad Stolyarov and Clement Lesigne from Google's Threat Analysis Group, TAG, a specialized team focused on protecting Google users from state-sponsored cyber threats. They reported their findings to the Google Chrome team in June, leading to a patch being released on July 15, which acknowledged the vulnerability as actively exploited in ongoing attacks. While Google has not disclosed extensive details about these attacks, it is known that the TAG team often uncovers zero-day vulnerabilities that are exploited by government-backed threat actors. These actors typically target high-risk individuals such as dissidents, opposition politicians, and journalists, with the intent of deploying spyware on their devices. On a recent Tuesday, Apple issued WebKit security updates to mitigate the CVE 2025-6558 vulnerability across various software and devices, including iOS 18.6 and iPadOS 18.6, compatible with iPhone XS and newer, iPad Pro models, 13-inch, 12.9-inch third generation and later, 11-inch first generation and later, iPad Air, third generation and later, iPad, 7th generation and later, and iPad Mini 5th generation and later, macOS Sequoia 15.6 for Macs running macOS Sequoia, iPad OS 17.7.9 for iPad Pro, 12.9-inch second generation, 10.5-inch, and iPad, 6th generation, tvOS 18.6, applicable to all models of Apple TV HD and Apple TV 4K, Vision OS 2.6, for Apple Vision Pro, watchOS 11.6, for Apple Watch Series 6 and later. Apple has noted that processing maliciously crafted web content may lead to an unexpected Safari crash, highlighting the potential risks associated with the exploitation of CVE 2025-6558. They emphasize that this vulnerability is rooted in open-source code, which affects various Apple software projects. On July 22, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, the U.S. agency responsible for cyber defense, added this security flaw to its catalog of known exploited vulnerabilities. This action mandates that federal agencies must patch their software by August 12. Although the binding operational directive, BOD 22-01, which requires federal agencies to secure their systems, is specifically aimed at these agencies, CISA has urged all network defenders to prioritize addressing the CVE 2025-6558 vulnerability promptly. CISA has warned that vulnerabilities like this are common attack vectors for malicious cyber actors and pose significant risks to federal operations. Since the beginning of the year, Apple has also addressed 5 other zero-day vulnerabilities that were exploited in targeted attacks. These include one discovered in January, CVE 2025-2485, another in February, CVE 2025-24200, a third in March, CVE 2025-24201, and 2 more in April, CVE 2025-31200 and CVE 2025-31201. What are your thoughts on the frequency of these vulnerabilities? Do you believe tech companies are doing enough to protect users? Share your opinions in the comments below. iOS 26 Public Beta Review, Top Features and Changes. Thinking about upgrading to iOS 26? We've put the public beta through its paces on our iPhones, and the features we discovered are truly noteworthy. Apple unveiled iOS 26 during its annual Worldwide Developers Conference in early June, and since then, the company has been fine-tuning the software in collaboration with developers ahead of its beta release. Now that the beta is accessible to everyone, you might be contemplating whether to jump in now or hold off until the official launch, which is expected around September. Let's explore this together. Additionally, if you're on the fence about whether to purchase an iPhone 16 or wait for the iPhone 17, there are some crucial insights you should consider. To give you a clearer picture, iOS 26 brings a fresh aesthetic, more organized layouts for first-party applications, enhanced functionalities across widely used services, and several delightful Easter egg features that significantly improve your iPhone experience. My colleague Carrie Wan and I have been exploring the public beta via Developer Beta 4 for the past few weeks, and here are our most significant observations so far. Number 1. Visual intelligence is nearing its full potential. When I first experimented with visual intelligence on iOS 18, I primarily utilized it for translating signs and menus while traveling. In comparison to similar multimodal tools available on other smartphones, this feature felt quite basic. However, with iOS 26, I find myself using it much more frequently due to its improved ability to process on-screen information and assist with relevant tasks. For instance, the ability to create a calendar event directly from an email invitation has been a game-changer. Apple now allows users to take a screenshot of an invitation, whether it's from an email, a message, or any other source, and apply visual intelligence to it. This feature then suggests options like Add to Calendar, Read Aloud, and Summarize. Selecting the first option generates an event in the Calendar app, complete with details such as the event name, time, and duration. While Carrie and I agree that Samsung's AI, Select, and Google's Circle to Search are more adept at recognizing on-screen items and executing functions based on AI suggestions, some users might appreciate that Apple's AI service allows for saving screenshots for future reference. Of course, you can delete the screenshot right after creating the event, but the current process of taking a screenshot and waiting for the Add to Calendar suggestion can be a bit time-consuming. It would be fantastic if I could activate on-screen visual intelligence with a simple press or double press of the camera control, instead of having to take a screenshot. 2. A much-improved Photos app. Apple's redesign of the Photos app in iOS 18 was marketed as the most significant overhaul to date. However, throughout 2024, I, like many others, struggled to adapt to the new user interface and often felt frustrated while browsing through my vacation photos. Thankfully, Apple has listened to user feedback and provided an updated layout that I genuinely appreciate. The revamped Photos app is now organized into library and collections, so when I scroll to the end of my library, it no longer automatically displays any outstanding folders. Instead, those have been relocated to a separate Collections tab. Overall, the app interface is cleaner and no longer causes frustration. Accessing specific albums requires fewer steps, bringing iOS 26 closer to the seamless software experience we expect from Apple. On a related note, the ZDNet team unanimously agrees that the ability to quickly convert almost any still image into one with spatial depth is the gimmicky feature we adore the most. It's enjoyable, user-friendly, and works exceptionally well, now more than ever in the public beta. This technology is the same one that gives lock screen wallpapers their captivating gyroscopic portrait effect. 3. A streamlined camera interface. The most significant redesign in iOS 26 is undoubtedly the simplified layout of the camera app. Apple now presents two options for video and photo at the bottom, allowing you to swipe up to access additional settings like flash, live photo, timer, and more. These settings can also be accessed by tapping the settings button located in the top right corner. You can press, hold, and drag to switch to other modes such as cinematic video and portrait. Initially, I found the new design a bit too minimalistic for my liking. Even as you're familiar with all the tools and settings in the camera app, there's no clear indication, like a menu button or expand symbol, of how to access them. I suspect that casual users may struggle, at least initially, to locate certain settings. However, this minimalist design does offer the advantage of a fast and responsive user interface, which is a significant benefit for photographers and users looking to capture quick shots. By concealing more of the interface, framing and capturing subjects becomes easier. My colleague Carrie recently traveled to Barcelona and Lisbon, two cities rich in architecture and Mediterranean tilework. He found the redesigned camera app very intuitive for quickly switching between photo and video modes and framing picturesque views. When every detail of buildings, streets, and statues is crucial, the ability to see how everything fits within the viewfinder is invaluable. 4. Safari receives a stunning liquid glass makeover. Safari's new liquid glass enhanced appearance significantly improves the experience of reading and browsing web pages. The browser on iOS 26 not only looks more appealing, but is also more functional than before. For instance, the focus on reducing distracting UI elements means that what used to be a two-row menu at the bottom, which occupied a considerable portion of the web page, is now a sleek floating three-button navigation bar, which includes the back button, URL bar, and a three-dot button. The navigation bar minimizes as you scroll through a web page, and switching between tabs with a swipe feels quicker than ever. I also appreciate that Apple has consolidated additional web page options into a three-dot menu, which contains shortcuts like Share, Add to Favorites, and Add Bookmark, among others. One of our favorite new features in Safari is the introduction of haptic feedback. For example, you'll feel a gentle vibration when an image or file has successfully downloaded from the browser, whereas previously, this would appear as a hidden notification. These subtle software enhancements make a significant difference, so much so that my colleague Carrie has returned to using Safari instead of primarily relying on Chrome on his iPhone. 5. Our favorite lock screen feature is... I have been eagerly anticipating this feature for years, and it's finally here. No, it's not the expandable clock widget that adjusts to the wallpaper, nor is it the ability to place ticker widgets on the bottom half of the screen. Instead, it's the fact that when you charge your iPhone, iOS 26 now displays the estimated time remaining for the battery to reach full charge. This small addition proves to be surprisingly useful, providing me with quick information on when my iPhone will be fully charged, especially when I'm pressed for time. I also appreciate the updated album artwork, which now fills the entire lock screen when streaming from Apple Music, Spotify, and other services. Bonus, using my AirPods as a camera remote. As a solo traveler, there are moments when I miss having my Apple Watch, something I often leave at home to minimize charging needs when I need to record or take a picture of myself. However, with the new iOS 26, I can now wirelessly trigger video recording using my AirPods Pro 2. Apple's iOS 26 allows you to start recording video in the camera app by pressing and holding the AirPods or AirPods Pro equipped with the H2 chip. This feature will be particularly beneficial for content creators and individuals like me who prefer wearing a traditional watch instead of an Apple Watch. Keep in mind that all the features mentioned here may change before the stable release later this year, including how they are accessed, their appearance, and functionality. Nevertheless, iOS 26 is shaping up to be one of the most significant updates to Apple's operating system in years, and we are excited to see how consumers will respond in the near future.